Hello everyone, and welcome to Loresworn Live. We're playing some more Hearts of Iron 4 by very popular request. Lots of people asking on Twitch and YouTube when we were going to be doing more Hearts of Iron, and that day is today.
Yay!
I am TJ. Brianna is in the background doing some graphics and whatnot, and we might have DM and Chloe drop in here and there. It's going to be kind of more of a laid-back stream. If you have not seen it already, you should definitely check out our launch playthrough where we played as the USA. That's all 38 episodes of that are up on YouTube, and we're very happy with how it turned out. Hopefully we can do something as cool this time around. We're definitely gonna pick a country and try to stick with it to the end of the war, so even though this was kind of impromptu, it's not just going to be a casual thing that we forget about. This is going to be our next full run of Hearts of Iron 4. Anyway, I am going to go ahead and switch over to the game now. I hadn't quite decided who I wanted to play as yet. I was kind of clicking around. I don't really want to do something super obvious. I want to do something kind of weird this time. There have been so many Germany Let's Plays. There's been a lot of US, a lot of UK Let's Plays, and then a lot of, like, taking nations in Europe and, like, switching them to a weird ideology. I actually just did a Republican Russian Federation run recently that was pretty fun. And I was thinking about taking selections from chat, but I kind of have sort of made a decision on what I think I want to do for this run. I want to play as Brazil, because they're down here in part of the world that you don't really get to see much in Hearts of Iron. There's usually not a lot going on in South America, and it really is actually an interesting area because you've got a lot of unaligned countries, but you also have, like, socialist Paraguay, democratic Uruguay, Chile is more democratic, Peru and Venezuela are fascist leaning, and then you've got, these colonies from some of the big major European powers, allied powers down here in the Caribbean to play with. But Brazil starts out with a pretty strong economy, so they can actually build themselves up to be a major player on the world stage. And what I think I'm going to do, since I've done a lot of fascist runs in this game, and I've done a lot of democratic runs, I think I'm going to try to do a communist Brazil and free the workers of South America from oppression, and then, if possible, push up in also to Central America and Mexico, and maybe even invade the US and Canada if we do well enough. Of course, we're probably going to end up buddying up with the Soviets at some point or another. But that's kind of my plan. Yeah, regular difficulty. I guess I'll leave historical AI focuses on. I still want to get around to playing without historical AI focuses at some point, but up till now I've just pretty much been playing with it on, and I'm pretty satisfied with that. Anyway, we are going to start with a political effort. We definitely want collectivists, internationalism, political power gain, indoctrination. So we want to get up to at least internationalism focus to max out our communism support, and then we'll start taking industry or whatever. Research slot, always go with electromechanical engineering first, and then probably construction for our second slot. Don't start out with very many research slots as Brazil, so we're going to want to fix that pretty quickly. Anyway, dockyards. I'm going to have one perpetually making convoys, and then I think I'm going to just destroyer spam for the most part. I know they nerfed destroyer spam, but I'm not super worried about having a strong navy, at least not at this point in the game. Also going to try to rely heavily on self-sufficient special forces divisions. So these cavalry, I'm not even going to use them at all. But I'm not going to go stray outside of the support divisions. What am I looking for? I need the text screen. I'm not going to stray outside of the support divisions that don't require extra equipment. So I'm not really going to be going heavily into motorized, which means I'm not going to be using a lot of field hospitals, logistics, and signal companies. Pretty much just going to be sticking to these templates here. Probably not as much MPs, and probably not too concerned with maintenance companies. It's going to be a pretty standard third world build with recon and engineers. But I'm going to make heavy use of Marines, and also probably quite a few Mountaineers. I haven't scouted the terrain super thoroughly yet, but I know there are some areas like Venezuela, the dirty fascist Venezuelans, where we're going to need some Mountaineers. To the point that I would eventually like to replace all of my regular infantry with special forces, but we'll see how possible that is. Man, do I start with a crappy little army here. First, get rid of all my cavalry divisions, because I just hate cavalry divisions. And we'll just assign them to do some training for now. I think Brazil starts out with a couple historical generals. Yeah, we got a ranger and a jungle rat. So both of these guys are going to be very, very, very useful for our purposes. I'll put them with the slightly better stats guy for now. And oh yeah, they added this in the latest patch where you can set the urgency of executing battle plans. We might get to play around with that a little bit too. But for now, I just want to set these guys to training. Exercise, there we go. And yeah, our goal is basically going to be to conquer South America. The only places where we might run into trouble are the very democratic-leaning countries like Chile and Colombia, Ecuador, because I think that the U.S. will likely intervene if we try to conquer democratic countries, but we can definitely go over after the neutral ones. Paraguay is probably going to become our ally because they're already communist. Yeah, Uruguay is also, but yeah, Venezuela and Peru are definitely going to be two of our biggest initial targets because they're fascists, and as good communists, we do not like fascism. Free civilian factories, I'm going to start out by just expanding our civilian infrastructure. Sao Paulo looks like a good place to do that. Until I get up to a full line 15 out of 15, because I always want to be producing civilian factories at max speed, and then I will start building military factories, and also we're going to need a lot of infrastructure. Brazil needs a lot of work infrastructure-wise. Paving roads straight through the Amazon, causing mass deforestation in the name of the workers of the world. Logistics-wise, I don't think I'm really going to need much besides infantry and support equipment to begin with. How many free factories do I have? I've got one more free military factory. I'll put it on support equipment for now, just because it looks like my overall balance, I'm doing really well with infantry and not so well with support. Insufficient resources. We're lacking a little bit of oil. I'm not too worried about that, but we are going to want to trade for some steel. We have a lot of influence with Argentina. They are neutral, so we'll conquer them eventually. But for now, I think we can have a positive trade relationship with them. Oh, they don't have enough steel though. Who has a lot of steel that's willing to trade with us? The Raj? Yeah, that'll work. We'll ship in steel from India. And no divisions in basic training. Well, my manpower is pretty low. But I also don't have a lot of guys. So I should probably be training at least one division of infantry. Let's decide who we're going to fight first. So Uruguay is democratic, so they wouldn't really make a great first target even though they're small. Argentina is a possibility. Venezuela is a possibility. What's our infrastructure like? in that region. Okay, we have to cross the Amazon to fight any of these guys, which is going to be a pain. So actually, Argentina should probably be our first logical target. So I'll go ahead and have these guys deploy down here. And we are going to also set them to add to this training army when they're done training, I believe. Did I set that correctly? Oh, I have to assign them an order before I can... That's right. Okay, so you guys... Argentine border...
I can't hear you too on the stream. I want to turn that music down.
Oh, is the music too loud? Let's see.
I just have a hard time.
Options, audio... Let's turn the music down. Alright. That should be a little better. Okay, so I've got my infantry divisions in training, and we're just going to play on speed 5 until we get to the point where something interesting is happening. Oh yeah, Navy and Air Force. I should take a look at that real quick. So we have submarine, one submarine. It's not even worth making its own group, so we're just going to assign them all to the same. And I can't really block all of... Oh yeah, I can block the Argentine coast because Chile owns the entire western part of the landmass here. So I'm going to have them on patrol. I'm going to send them here. And that should pretty much blockade Argentina. That should be really all we need to do. I guess they probably have this one space that they'll be able to continue to trade out of, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they still have a very small path to the sea, but not too worried about that. And then my Air Force, I have 24 fighters in Rio. I'm going to move them right up to the front here. And then I'm going to assign them an order to air superiority in southern South America. Which I guess is just called South America, the South America region. Fair enough. There we go. Air superiority and interception. Excellent. Oh, and... probably want to put them on normal operations so they won't fight to the death. Having fighters fight to the death is not really worth it. Although apparently this patch has made air combat less bloody, so we'll see how that works. Supply areas. 75 supply. 43, 25... So actually, the main area around Buenos Aires, we shouldn't have too much supply trouble. Which is nice. And terrain-wise, there's not like a fast terrain map mode. That's something I would really like to see in this game. But I think it's going to be mostly forest. Yeah, there's some marshes. We might want to try to avoid those if we can. Marshes are not fun. Yeah, it's mostly forest as opposed to jungle, and then we've got some clear plains down this way. So yeah, we're going to want to avoid these marshes around Buenos Aires and kind of stick to the forests and plains. So I'll probably assign these guys to... Let's see, Jungle Rat... Yeah, it gives just bonuses in jungle, so I'll want to assign him to the forest specialist when we actually do our invasion, but for now I'm keeping him on the higher skill level general here. And that's yeah, that's how it'll go until we got some mud happening up here. I don't think the US will care if we're conquering neutral nations, so that should not be too much of a problem. Hopefully we can get these guys all trained up before we attack. That will make a large difference. Especially these green troops with minus 25 attack. And begin creating our South American workers' paradise. No idea where this game will go. I mean, it could go really well, it could not. Remilitarization of the Rhineland. We finished our political effort. 120 political power, so we could start hiring a communist agitator. Taking collectivist ethos. Communist revolutionary. Supporting the government itself is usually how I roll. So we're losing democratic support, but unfortunately that does not cause us to lose neutral support, because neutral is kind of its own weird thing. I should also make sure that our limited oil supply is going to what I want it to go to. Yeah, we need destroyers more than we need convoys. I don't think it matters because we don't have any oil whatsoever. And we'll get the next level computing. Okay, Argentina has oil, so our oil problems will be solved once we take those oil fields. It's going to take some probably fairly advanced micro to conquer Argentina, but I'm pretty confident we can pull it off. Their national unity is 70%, and probably Buenos Aires is a good majority of that. So I think we can end it quickly. They don't really have any cities in the south that are worth victory points. So if we could take Mar del Plata, if we can take Buenos Aires, and then Argentina controls this location in Mesopotamia. I'm pretty sure that's a bug. Unless there's a Mesopotamia in South America that I didn't know about. The tough one might be Mendoza up here. Because it's in the mountains. But yeah, we'll see. Might actually be worth rushing for that. Just in case they're not defending it. Okay, so we're going to take the internationalism focus. At that point, I'll be satisfied with our headlong dive into communism, and we can start taking some focuses that actually help our industry and help our military. Still all quiet on the European front. Japan has not declared war on China yet. Did they move Beijing to be controlled by... I thought that it was controlled by Japan in 36. Oh yeah, maybe you start just on the outskirts of it. It seems like in one of the earlier patches, though, Japan did start with Beijing, but I might just be imagining things. We're gonna have our guys trained up to regular pretty soon here, it looks like. Maybe I should be training more divisions. Maybe I'm underestimating my manpower. Okay, if it'll let me change to war economy, that's almost always... Oh, I'm not communist yet, so I can't. So in that case, I probably want to hire... I can't get an industrial theorist. Political advisor, popular figurehead, compassionate gentleman, or a backroom backstabber. Plus 5% political power gain is nice in the long run. Actually... Yeah, maybe I should... Yeah, I'll go for an industrial company for my next pick. Political power gain is nice, but plus 5% is not especially noteworthy. Yeah, let's do machine tools.